get VS Code working on your computer, you need to download a few things. The first thing is the .NET framework. This is version 6.0. At the time of this recording, it was the latest version. And on this link, on this page, I'll link to it at the bottom of the tutorial. If you're on a Windows machine, you'd click x64 if you're on a 64-bit processor, which most machines nowadays are. If you're on a Mac, choose ARM64 if you're running a M1 or M2 chip, the Apple Silicon, or x64 if you know you're running an Intel chip. Just make sure you're getting it from the installers panel here. When you have downloaded that, you can check to see that it's installed by running cmd. If you're on a Windows machine, run that in your search bar, or if you're on a Mac, do a spotlight search and type terminal. When you're in here, type .NET -- version with a space in between, and if it's installed correctly, you'll see a number beginning with a 6 point something. Now your numbers are likely to be different to mine, but it'll be if you have just installed version 6.0.406, then that's actually what you'll be doing. You can see I've got 6.0.202 because I installed this earlier this year. The next thing you need to install is VS Code itself. So VS Code is a free code editor. It supports many languages, not just C#. So if you're on Windows, you want User Installer x64 for your 64-bit processor, whether that's Intel or AMD, doesn't matter. Mac, choose Intel if you've got a Core i5, i7 sort of processor, or Apple Silicon if you've got M1 or M2. When you've installed that, open up VS Code, and your program will look similar to mine, but you'll have a start screen. I've turned that start screen off. I don't know how to get it back, don't really want it back, so just go with the fact that your screen kind of looks like mine, but it's not exactly the same. Now, to create a new project, I'm going to go up to the File menu and go Open Folder. I'm going to create a folder. Let's say I'll call it VS Code 2. And then go Select Folder. Now it's really important you put all of your files for one exercise or one project into its own folder. C# is what we call a project-based language. Therefore, it needs more than just the file that you're writing your code in to actually run. And we're going to ask VS Code to do that for us. But before we do that, we need to click over here in the Extensions panel and type C# or C# symbol, press enter, and it's likely to be the first one. There it is, this green and white icon. So click where I've got uninstall, click install, give it a few minutes to install itself. This is going to allow us to work with C# programming language plus the rest of the SDK Net 6.0 framework so that we can get our C# code up and running. Now when that's installed, we don't need that anymore. You can close the extension tab there and then click the icon of the two pages. You'll see now whatever you called your folder is going to be converted all to capitals and displayed up here. Now to get the project files that we need from VS Code, go up to the terminal menu and type New Terminal. Then in here type .NET, all one word, new console. We're creating what we call a console project, which is a text-based project. Space -- framework, making sure your spelling is 100% accurate. Space Net 6.0 with no spaces in between. Press enter and give it a moment. VS Code will write a number of files for us and put them into our folder. Now you can see it started us off here. The only file you need to be concerned with is this one called program.cs. you'll see it's got a sample piece of code in there to begin with. So to test that your setup is working, or if you get this little pop-up saying required assets to build, etc., just go yes, and it just adds a few extra files over here in the Explorer panel. But again, we're only interested in program.cs. So to get this running and test as Hello World appear, put your cursor down here in Terminal and type .net, all one word, followed by space, then run. Press enter, give it a moment to compile, and then it will start running your program. And as you can see, Hello World has output. So I know that my system here is set up, ready to go. What I'd normally do is just get rid of those first two lines and start with a blank page. One other thing is, because we've written that .NET new console line and the .NET run, our computer's already got a memory of it now. So if I put my cursor down here at the end of the prompt and press the up arrow, it will display the most recently run instruction, which was that .NET run. If I press it a second time, it's going to show me the second to last instruction I used. So instead of having to remember that big long line all the time, you can actually just use your up arrow or down arrow to go back and forth between the two.